Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Today I will be presenting my final project for academic reading entitled Building a Vocabulary Through Academic Reading. This research focuses on how ESL, or English as a Second Language, students develop vocabulary through academic reading, particularly through the strategy identifying and inferring the meanings of unknown words in context. Let's begin with the background of this research. Learning a second language involves mastering core measuring skills like speaking, listening, reading, and writing. However, vocabulary plays a central role in all of this. Without sufficient vocabulary, it becomes difficult to comprehend text, express idea, or participate in academic discussion. This study looks specifically at how ESL students acquire new vocabulary while reading academic texts. Why academic reading? Because academic texts are rich in dominant specific vocabulary, complex sentence structure, and less common words. While challenging, this makes academic reading a great tool for vocabulary development. As students read, they often encounter unfamiliar words rather than relying on dictionaries all the time. Many try to guess at the meaning using context or word structure. This is called inferring, and it plays a major role in vocabulary acquisition. So, this research explores this exact process, how the students make meaning out of unknown vocabulary, how effective it is, and what can we learn from their strategies. From the background, we move on to the purpose of the study. The main objectives are to examine how ESL students infer the meaning of unfamiliar words during academic reading, and then to evaluate the accuracy of their guesses, and the last to understand how their strategies impact their long-term vocabulary development. In short, this study seeks to answer the question, can academic reading help ESL students grow their vocabulary? And if so, how? So why is vocabulary so important in academic context? First, vocabulary knowledge is directly linked to reading comprehension. The more words you know, the more meaning you can extract from a text. This is especially important in higher education where academic texts are dense and specialized. Second, vocabulary influences academic performance. Research has shown that students with a large vocabulary tend to perform better on reading comprehension tests, writing assignment, and even an oral presentation. Lastly, vocabulary is also essential for critical thinking. When students understand more words, they can engage more deeply with ideas, analyze arguments, and express their own opinions more precisely. Therefore, improving vocabulary through academic reading not only boosts language skill, it also supports academic success. This research is supported by several theoretical frameworks and previous studies. One key theory is Achian mental action, which refers to the network of words stored in human brain. According to Achian, vocabulary is not just stored as individual words, but as interconnected webs connected by meaning, sound, or usage. Academic reading can help build strength this connection. Another model used is the generator-evaluator model by Hankin and Bloch. This model explains how readers can generate possible meanings for unknown words based on context, and then evaluate those meanings against their existing knowledge. This process involves both top-down and bottom-up processing, meaning readers use both what They know about language structure and the surrounding text to infer word meanings. Together, these theories provide a solid foundation for understanding how vocabulary is acquired through reading. This research used a longitudinal cases approach. What does that mean? It means that data was collected over a long period of time, allowing for an in-depth analysis of student progress and change in vocabulary knowledge. This method was chosen because vocabulary acquisition is a gradual process. By observing students over weeks or months, we can see patterns and long-term effects that short-term studies may miss. Several methods were used to collect data. First, the vocabulary list to track which words students learned over time. Second is think aloud protocols, where students verbalize their thought process while reading, helping researchers understand how they guess meaning. The third is translation test, to check whether students had learned the correct meanings of target vocabulary. And the last is pause test, to evaluate vocabulary retention after some time has passed. These diverse methods provide both quantitative data like test score and qualitative insight like student thought processes. The participants were 4 ESL students, each from a different culture and linguistic background, one from Romania, one from Japan, one from Greece, and one from Korea. All of them were enrolled in the same anthropology course at a university, which provide a consistent set of academic reading materials. Their different native languages and learning styles offered a rich perspective on how background affect vocabulary learning. Throughout the study, students used various strategies to guess word meanings. The first strategy is morphological analysis. Some students broke down words into roots, prefixes, or suffixes. For example, understanding that unbelievable means not believable by identifying the prefix "un." The second strategy is context clues. Many use the sentence or paragraph context to make educated guesses. For instance, in the sentence, the arid region received less than 10 inches of rain per year. A student could infer that arid means dry. The last strategy is cross-linguistic transfer. Students connected English words to similar words in their own language. For example, a Romanian student may recognize informal because it resembles a similar Latin-based word in Romanian. These strategies show how students use multiple cognitive tools when facing unfamiliar vocabulary. Now, let's move on to the findings. One of the key results was the students who read more frequently showed greater vocabulary improvement. They support idea that extensive reading, especially academic reading, provides exposure to a wide range of vocabulary in meaningful contexts. For example, one participant increased their vocabulary test score by 25% over the course of the semester, simply through regulation reading and word guessing. So, the study confirms that academic reading can indeed support vocabulary growth. However, the process wasn't perfect. Some students made incorrect guesses and continued to use the wrong meanings in their writing or speech. This become fossilious errors, mistakes that stick because they're never corrected. For example, one student wrote that tenure meant time instead of a permanent academic position and kept using correctly. This shows that while enforcing is helpful, it needs to be supported with feedback and instruction to ensure accuracy. Based on the findings, several recommendations are made. First, teachers should explicitly teach inferencing strategies, such as how to use context clues, break down word structure, or analyze sentence patterns. Second, students should be encouraged to read extensively, not just for tests, but daily exposure. The third is feedback is crucial. When students make vocabulary errors, they should be addressed so that the correct meaning is reinforced. And the last is use of vocabulary journals can also help students keep track of new words and meanings they've learned. To conclude, academic reading is more than just a way to gain knowledge. It's also a powerful tool for building vocabulary. Through regular exposure to new words in meaningful context, students can expand their mental lection and improve their academic performance. However, guessing words' meaning is only effective if done correctly. Therefore, both learners and teachers need to be aware of strategies and potential pitfalls of this approach. With the right support, ESL students can grow into confident and competent academic readers. Okay, that's it for me. Thank you so much for the attention. I hope this presentation gave you useful insight into how vocabulary can build through academic reading and how we can better support ESL students in their language learning journey. I would be happy to answer any question you might have. If you'd like. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.